So now on top of everything else, I now find out that I'm a spiritual coward. You know, it's good sometimes to just be let into the real things that are going on in people's lives sometimes, because if all people ever tell you who have victory is about their victory, and they never tell you what it took to get there and how many times they wanted to give up and quit, then you begin to think that there's something wrong with you. But let me tell you something, everybody that's going to do anything amazing with their life is going to have to go through some of the similar things. Everybody. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just in training. Now, 11 years later, I saw this entry. Somebody say 11 years. And this was December the 20th, 1998. And I said, well, I was reading this old notebook and thought I would give you an update on how my life is now. See, this is what you got to look at. Things have changed drastically. I'm now on 375 television stations, 250 radio stations. Our ministry is very successful. I've changed drastically. I enjoy peace almost continually. I've continued all these years to have some health struggles, but in the midst of it all, God has given me grace to do all He's called me to do. It's been hard at times, but I can report that God is faithful. I now have 4 grandchildren, which now have become 11, plus 1 on the way. My youngest son was getting married in 6 weeks. He now has 3 sons of his own. Dave and I love each other very much, and we get along really good almost all the time. And in January, Dave and I will be married 50 years. Now, that's been 19 years ago, and I won't bother to give you another update, but things are just really good. Now, what happened during those years? It's good to get a report here, and then another one 11 years later, but what happened in those 11 years? And then what happened during the next 19 years? One main thing, I grew. My ministry didn't grow all that much, but I grew. See, God is much more interested in changing us than He is in giving us what we want. I must repeat that. God is much more interested in changing us than He is giving us what we want. Now, you will eventually get what you want if what you want is what God wants. And you'll even come to the point where if what you want is not what God wants, you won't even want it. At least you'll tell God, I want this, but if it's not what you want, then I don't want you to give it to me. I beg God, please don't ever give me anything that I ask you for if it's not your will. Because I've been in the will of God and I've been out, and I can tell you in is much better than out. We all want to have a lot of fruit, but however much fruit you have, you got to have roots that go just that deep. And some of the stuff that goes on behind closed doors that nobody else knows about and nobody else would even understand, that's you getting rooted and grounded in the things that God wants you to be rooted and grounded in, like His love, confidence, knowing who you are as an individual and not needing to compare yourself with somebody else, not being a people pleaser.